Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Progress. To progress at chess you will need to study tactics, study endgames, study the classics from the past and the present, and analyze your own games. On all these 4 topics I have series on the Chess to Progress channel, and this is number 11 in the tactics series. I have 6 positions for you, 2 easy ones, 2 intermediate ones and 2 hard ones, in the spirit of the 1-minute daily challenge that I have done on Chess to Impress. Let's get started. This is the first one. It's black to play and win. Black is going up the board. We're looking at this position from the black perspective. If we count the pieces, it's about equal. White has a queen and 2 pawns. A queen is worth about 9 pawns. Plus 2 pawns is 11. And the rook is about 5, and bishop and knight are about 3. So if we just count, then it's 11 against 11. But of course that is too simple. If it was like that, then chess would not be such a hard and not such a wonderful game. Okay, black to play and win. What strikes the eye is that we have a discovered check, and we can do something with that. If we move the rook away, then the bishop will give check to the white king. What is tempting is to play rook b7 check, because then we have a check and at the same time we are attacking the white queen. But that doesn't work, because then white can solve both problems in one move with queen takes a6 check. There's no more check and the queen is saved, and this is winning for whites. Okay, let's go back. So rook b7 check does not win. What does win is rook b6 check. Again, it is check. And if you now take the bishop, then black will take back. The bishop is now protected. And as it turns out, queen takes a6 is the only legal move. This king is caught in the middle of the board. It is in check. The knight is taking these 2 squares away, and the rook is taking the squares on the b file away. So queen takes a6 is the only move, rook takes a6. And of course this is easily winning for black. One last variation, we can not do the same with rook a5 check, because then there is king b4. We have to play rook b6 to make sure the king cannot go to the b file. So rook b6 is the solution to this problem. Let's go to the next one. In this position it's white to play and win. If we count the pieces we see that material is equal, but what can white do here? When I saw this position my first thought was bishop f5. Black can play rook takes e2, and now we cannot take the queen because we get checkmated ourselves. So bishop f5 doesn't work because of rook takes e2. But the idea was right. It's not the bishop that has to go to f5, it is the queen that has to go to f5. And that does work. Again, you cannot take the queen because of checkmate. Rook takes e8, rook takes is checkmate. And if you try rook takes e2, which worked after bishop f5, then we see that we also now have a battery of bishop and queen on h7 with tempo, with a check. Queen takes h7 check, king f8 only move, and then we just take back on e2. And this is a winning position for white, because there's a checkmate threat with queen h8, and if black plays up, for example, the f-pawn, then queen h8 comes anyway and wins the rook on a8. Okay, back to the start. So queen f5 is the best move. Let's try something else. So we cannot take the queen, we cannot take on e2. Can we just play the queen away? No, we can't, because then also rook takes e8 and rook takes, queen has to interpose, and queen takes h7 is checkmate. So queen d6 does not work either. It turns out that black is lost after queen f5 in all variations. The combination of the attack on h7 and the attack on the queen, who has to keep protecting the rook because otherwise there's rook takes e8, is too much for black. White is winning here. In this position it's white to play and win again. If we count the pieces we see that black has a rook and bishop and a pawn for the queen, but black's king is in big trouble and that will give us a solution. For the moment it's difficult to bring the queen into the attack. Of course the rook is very nicely placed on the 7th rank, but how can we bring the queen in? Well, we give a little check first to put the queen on a light square. Queen f1 check. King e8 is the only move. And now queen b5 check. Very nice. If we go to d8, it's checkmate on the spot with queen d7. And if after queen b5 check we go to f8, we also are able to checkmate the black king. Queen takes d5 check. King e8 only move. And queen e7 is checkmate. So queen f1 check, a very nice move to checkmate the black king. In this position it's again white to play and win. Materials equal, queen, rook and knight and 2 pawns for both players. How can white win here? Well, we have a forcing move. A forcing move is, for example, a check. Queen e8 check wins, because now king h7 is the only move. And then we have a double attack. Check on the king and the rook is hanging. So after king h8, queen takes d5, white has won a full rook. We have to be careful. We cannot do it with queen a8 check. You might think that's a move quicker because it's check and it's attacking the rook, which is unprotected. But then black has a nice saving move. Rook d8, solving 2 problems with 1 move. Just interposing the rook that was attacked. And it's protected there on d8. And this does not work for white. In this position it's black to play and win. There's actually a forced checkmate you have to look for. White is material up, but there are a lot of pieces around the white king. The solution here is the beautiful move knight f4. Putting the knight en prise there. There are now 2 checkmate threats, with queen g2 but also with knight h3. They are both checkmate. So white really has to take the knight. G takes f4. And now the very beautiful move queen h3. And there's nothing you can do about being checkmated on the next move with queen takes h2. In this position it's also black to play and win, and again we're going for checkmate. Materials equal, but black has an attack. The white queen looks threatening, but the white queen cannot checkmate the black king on her own. It's black to play, and the move to make here is rook e2 check. Then the king has to go in the corner, and we have a very nice queen sacrifice. Queen takes f3 check. Very nice. White has to take. He has only 1 legal move, rook takes. And then the checkmate goes as follows. It's a checkmate with rook and bishop. Rook e1 check. And king g2. And rook g1 check. A very nice checkmate with a queen sacrifice. Hope you enjoyed these 6 positions and that you got a bit of tactics training. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess2 Progress channel and please leave a comment. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media. You also may want to check out my Chess2 Impress channel. I'm getting ready for the Candidates Tournament, which is starting on Saturday, March 10th, 2018, and I will do daily videos there on each round. This is Rick for Chess2 Progress. Thank you for watching.